Thank you all for coming tonight. My name is Annie Thompson, and I am Kelly's sister. For as long as I can remember, Kelly and I have always been known as the Thompson girls. When we were at sheep or cattle shows, people knew it was us coming when they saw two curly, usually pretty frizzy blonde hair girls walking side by side. Kelly has always been my greatest role model, biggest competitor in the show ring, yet still the loudest cheerleader for me, and my best friend. Today marks the day that I officially have to share my sister with someone besides our brother. Although it is difficult, I realize that sharing is a part of life. And since the day I was born, Mom and Dad have always taught us the importance of sharing. Growing up, Kelly and I spent a lot of years sharing. We shared the same room for 4 years. We were always bed buddies on the countless sheep and cattle show adventures that Mom and Dad took us on, although we always argued about who kicked who the most when we slept at night, and let me tell you, it was always Kelly. When we moved into our new house, we shared the same bathroom. Her side was always super neat and organized, and my side was significantly less neat and organized.
Messy.
Significantly.
Annie, that was way undercut.
Kelly has shared her dolls, her cattle, her sheep, clothes, laughs, tears, and some hugs. And while this list could go on, there's one very important moment that Kelly and I have shared as well. And this moment happened 4,373 days ago when we met this kind of weird kid from Blooming Prairie, Minnesota, in a McDonald's somewhere in Iowa on our way to Exarban. Little did I know that at that time I was going to have to spend the rest of my life sharing things with him too. Since we met, Stephen and I have shared nicknames for one another. One of us is Sally, and the other is Nancy. Although it was likely Kelly's idea, when I lived in Casson for a summer, Stephen graciously shared, or when I worked in Casson for a summer, Stephen graciously shared his home with me, and all I had to do was drive them around in the Gator. I can't even begin to count the amount of times that Stephen and I have shared the conversation, why it seemed like he was never, ever going to propose to my sister. But after all of these things, I would have to say that the greatest thing that these two have chosen to share with me is the ability to watch them develop a friendship that turned into a relationship and a love that has now turned into a marriage. Kelly, I cannot thank you enough for asking me to stand by your side as your best friend and your maid of honor as you married the love of your life. And Stephen, thank you for finally marrying my sister. So, if we could all raise our glass, I would like to toast to the couple.
Here's my glass.
Kelly and Stephen, as you start your married lives together, I hope it is always full of sharing. Sharing love, sharing laughter, sharing a lifetime of happiness and support for one another. To Kelly and Stephen. But before I give the mic up, since you guys are asking for a love song, and I was told that I couldn't give a PowerPoint presentation or use flip charts like I usually do. Stephen and I were on our way home from the Iowa State Fair, and I asked him if I could rap at his wedding.
Yeah!
And he didn't think I knew how to do it, so I guess I'll try anyways. Now this is a story all about how Kel's life got turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit where you are, and I'll tell you how Kel became Queen of Stephen's heart. In southern Minnesota, born and raised in the barn is where we spent most of our days watching the calves, trying to keep them all cool, and living in the showroom, because that's where we ruled. When a few years passed, this guy was up to no good. He started causing trouble in our neighborhood. She went on one little date and Cal fell in love. She said, "All right, Mom and Dad, I think he might be the one." So once or twice when he came near, he was tall and only talked about John Deere. If anything, I could say that this guy was weird, but I thought, forget it, he shows nice tears. About 8 years later, he money and begged Kelly, please, please, please marry me. She looked at her ring and she knew from the start that she was always Queen of Stephen's heart. Yeah, you owe me a kiss now.